What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have a lot to talk about today. Aaron Judge, he finally returned to the Yankees, but the Yankees gave up 3 home runs to one single player, a rookie on the A's. Now, we just saw Aaron Judge return. What about the return of prime Nick Castellanos? He is back. He is having a monster start to the season, and also we do have to talk about the Angels being down to their 4th string catcher with Shohei Ohtani on the bump, so we're going to see if that affected him at all. Remember, everyone, if you're going to any baseball games or concerts anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off, and also do not forget to hit that subscribe button because we post these recaps every single day. All right, we're going to go ahead and get the Guardians and Tigers game out the way. Michael Lorenzen, he has been on a tear lately, throwing another quality start, allowing just 1 earned run in this one, but Biebs, he was better. Shane, he was given a 1-run lead on a sac fly in the first, and he kept it that way for the next few hours. This was vintage Cy Bieber, and I haven't really seen this kind of strikeout stuff from him in quite some time. 9 strikeouts over 6 shutout innings. Ahmed Rosario, he legged out an RBI triple, which is awful for me as a Guardians fan because this means that Ahmed has bought himself more starting time, and I do not want him playing anymore. Sam Hedges, the lefty stud from last year's playoffs against the Rays, he was back in there. He's finally healthy. He gave it to Emmanuel Clase, who closed it out. He has 13 saves already. This was a nice W, don't get me wrong, but Cleveland, they haven't scored more than 4 runs in about 2 weeks, and they're dead last in all of Major League Baseball in OPS. They don't scare anyone offensively, and luckily the pitching has been good because they stink in the batter's box. So again, that was a nice win because it came against the Tigers. Now, staying with big wins, this was huge for Baltimore as very few teams have beaten the Rays this year. Wander Franco, by the way, he's hitting .310 with 7 home runs and 9 stolen bases. I had to show that real quick. Jorge Mateo had a ground out in the 3rd to tie it back up, and there's the future best catcher in baseball. Adley Rutschman hit a go-ahead 2-run shot, his 5th home run of the year. He leads baseball in walks. He has 40 doubles, 18 home runs, and a 131 OPS plus through his first 149 big league games dating back to last year. Austin Hayes, he is quietly hitting .297 with a 132 OPS plus. His RBI single gave Grayson a decent lead, and Grayson, he was decent. 4 strikeouts over 5 2/3. He put himself in line for the W. He just really needs the bullpen to close it out, and when you have Yanir Cano and Felix Bautista back there, you're pretty much guaranteed a W. Those guys combined for 3 shutout innings with 1 base hit. Bautista now has 9 saves and a 1.59 ERA, while Yanir Cano has a 0.00 ERA. He's allowed 3 base hits, 21 strikeouts over 17 innings. He has been the best relief pitcher in baseball, kind of by far. Like I mentioned in the intro, Aaron Judge, he was back in there, and he got the avalanche of scoring started by simply putting the ball in play for an RBI ground out. Rizzo, he has 16 RBIs on the year. He's hitting .296, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, his Hall of Fame case is getting more interesting because now that the shift is gone and a thing of the past, he's getting more base hits, and honestly, if he can hit .285 for the next half decade, he's going to put himself in serious consideration to make the Hall of Fame. New York, they put up 5 before the 3rd came to a close, but they had to deal with this Jordan Diaz kid. That was his first of 3 home runs. More on him in just a second. Glaber, he got that run back and then some, hitting a 2-run home run right before Jordan Diaz bashed his 2nd solo shot of the night. Yet again, though, New York, they got those runs back and more. This time on Jake Bauer's 2nd of the season, 420 feet the other way. That is no joke. He does have pop. I hope that he keeps it up because he was awful, like god awful for Cleveland, and he cost us Yandy Diaz. Anyways, the A's gave up another 10 spot, but at least their rookie Jordan Diaz had a fun little 3 home run game. Like I said yesterday, the Yankees should 1000% sweep the Oakland Athletics, who have the worst pitching staff in the history ever. I don't care about Little League, club ball teams. The 2023 A's are by far the worst. Cincinnati versus the Mets, one of the weirdest games of the year, if I'm being honest. Now, first of all, what was weird is David Peterson should have not been starting this game. He should be in the minors working out some of the kinks, but I mean, it showed immediately because the Reds pounced him for 3 early runs. Francisco Alvarez then hit his first of 2 home runs. Stay tuned for a second of the game because the Mets, they did in fact go crazy to end this game, but wasn't enough to steal a victory. Cincy, they answered back with a Jonathan India RBI double, but now we got to talk about some drama. Will Myers, he slid in a second and obstruction was not called, even though he basically did swat at Francisco Lindor's glove. Then Buck Showalter got tossed because he said, yeah, he swung at the glove, kind of A-Rod robot style. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but they awarded Will Myers second base, and that played huge. So again, he stays on base for TJ Friedl, who stays raking. He's hitting 325 with 18 RBIs after that 2 RBI triple. Will Myers scored on that, so again, it ended up being huge. And the Mets, they lost by 1 single run, even though Alvarez hit his second of the night. Pete Alonso, he is tied yet again for the MLB lead with 12 home runs, and Francisco Lindor, he smoked a huge 2-run tater in the 8th inning, but again, it just wasn't enough. Cincinnati, they brought in Alexis Diaz, and he was effectively wild in my opinion, striking out 3 of the 4 outs that he got. He now has 7 saves on the year, so like I said, that obstruction call not being called played huge in this game. The Mets have lost 3 in a row, and they're 2-8 over their last 10. They're in 4th place in the NL East. Speaking of the NL East, it is going to be a long road to try and catch up with the Atlanta Braves, who honestly look just as good as the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, they have more losses than the Rays, but they strike just as much fear into the hearts of opponents. I mean, they are so good offensively, especially when Matt Olson is doing that. His 2-run blast went 430 feet. He has 11 on the season. He has 29 RBIs already. Albies, he has 27 RBIs, which is crazy for a second baseman. And Sean Murphy, he took over from there. His RBI single in the second was followed by a 2 RBI single in the 4th, but he wasn't done just yet. I got to show off Charlie Morton, though. Uncle Charlie, he's looking like 2021 Braves version of Charlie Morton. He struck out 7 over 6 innings, and he even got Masataka Yoshida to whiff a few times as well, which is rare because I think Masataka had gone 14 or 15 games without swinging and missing at a pitch. Murphy, he ended up with 1 more RBI after he doubled in Matt Olson, and I can't believe these stats. Sean Murphy, a catcher, is hitting 299 with 9 home runs, 32 RBIs, and a 187 OPS plus. He is number 1 in F-WAR on Fangraphs. That is mind-blowing. The Dodgers and the Brewers, LA lost Noah Syndergaard to a cut on his right index finger early on in this one, but lucky for them, they're the Dodgers and they score a lot. Mookie, he belted his 7th of the year, and fun fact for you guys, Mookie has a 134 OPS plus since becoming a Dodger, which matches his 134 OPS plus in Boston. Anyways, Miguel Rojas, he drove in an RBI, his first RBI of 2023. He has been an absolute disaster, a 170 batting average with 1 extra base hit in 19 games. Will Smith, he continues to let his bat do all of the talking. He now has 5 on the season, and there's rookie Miguel Vargas connecting on a huge 2-run home run. He's struggling to make consistent contact, but he does have a 345 on base percentage and 17 RBIs, so he's still been pretty productive. LA, they deployed 7 pitchers after Noah Syndergaard came out, with the 7th being Evan Phillips, who got the final out. He has 6 saves on the year as the Dodgers beat the Brewers 6-2. Jurickson Profar had his best day as a Rocky, and so far it hasn't even really been close because he's been not very good to begin his tenure in Colorado. He had 2 home runs on the day, so don't go anywhere. Colorado, they kept on scoring on some RBI groundouts, and then Charlie Blackmon, he teamed up with Randall Grichuk to make it a 5 spot after 2 more RBI singles. Connor Siebold, the former Red Sox pitcher, he threw a beauty. The Pirates offense has gone ice cold over the last week. A meteor has fallen from space and hit their lineup, causing an ice age. Over the last week, they've scored 8 runs total, and to make matters worse, they're hitting 176 as a team over that stretch. Connor Siebold, he struck out 3 over 5, allowing just 1 earned run, and the Rockies, they kept on pouring salt in the wound with some RBI extra base hits. McMahon, he tripled in 2 in the 7th, and Profar got them to double-digit runs. Pittsburgh, they're 2-8 over their last 10. They have not been playing well at all, and honestly, to me, this was expected. The Pirates are not a good team, but they were playing pretty well. The Giants and the Nationals, Mitch Haniger has not been his best self just yet for his new squad, so he'll take that 2 RBI double. And look at the kid go. Casey Schmidt, he got called up, and there's a moment he will never forget. He hit a home run in his very first big league game. He was drafted in the 2nd round 3 years ago in 2020. He was a contact god in the minors, and he won a gold glove at 3rd base. I didn't even know that they handed out gold gloves in the minor leagues, but apparently that's a thing. Look at his baseball reference page, though. He has a relief pitcher as a secondary, so he had a 2.48 ERA in 87 college innings. I don't know if he's going to be a 2-way star, but maybe he could be. Anyways, Logan spun his web. No, I am not sorry for that pun. Logan Webb struck out 7 over 7, allowing just 1 earned run, 1 walk. He now leads the National League in innings pitched with 52 over 8 starts. JD Davis, he enters the 20 RBI club with his single in the 7th inning, and San Francisco, they win 4-1 after Camilo Doval. The dude is so nasty. He made this look easy, striking out 2. He has 8 saves on the year. If I said that the Kansas City offense has been the best offense in baseball the last week, would you believe me? Regardless, I don't care if you do or not, because that's the fact. They have the most hits and runs of any team in Major League Baseball the last 7 days. Lucas Giolito, he was able to lock down the Kansas City offense, while everyone not named Vinny Pasquantino. La Pantera, Luis Robert Jr., he had his pitchers back, going 430 feet for his 8th home run of the year. Luis Robert Jr., even though he had a terrible last few weeks, he has 17 extra base hits and 3 outs above average. That is nutty production for someone who was technically struggling. Andrew Vaughn, he has 4 home runs. He now has 28 RBIs on the season. Jose Abreu, the guy that he replaced, has 0 home runs and 14 RBIs. So yeah, methinks they chose right. The Italian nightmare, Vinny P, he did all of the damage against Giolito, but he was able to throw 6 quality innings, striking out 9 Royals along the way. Lucas Giolito's 3.59 ERA is the best of any White Sox starting pitcher. So if they can get Dylan Cease, Lance Lynn, and Kopech back on track, honestly, I would say watch out for the White Sox. They can score a lot of runs, and that pitching on paper should be better. Very, very easy game to recap. The Padres and the Twins. Matt Carpenter started the scoring versus Minnesota with an RBI double in the 4th, and even though Michael Wacha did give up the lead pretty much instantly, he was fantastic. 6 innings, 1 earned run, and 4 strikeouts. That is a very efficient and good start if you ask me. So back-to-back quality starts for him after beginning the season as one of the worst pitchers in baseball. His offense got him back in line for a W after a 2-run 7th inning, and Machado's cold stretch, it seems to be a thing of the past. He's now hitting .360 with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs over his last 10 games. After the Twins 6-1 loss, Carlos Correa acknowledged that he has been horrible, and Twins fans have been booing him. He basically said, yeah, I would boo me too. I've been terrible for how much I'm getting paid. The Padres can get within 1 game of the Diamondbacks if Miami can clutch up. In Arizona, they ran into a force of nature not matched by many humans in MLB history. Jorge Soler sent a baseball to one of the deepest parts of any ballpark in Major League Baseball. That 3-run home run went 470 feet, and there's another one, 433 feet on that 2-run shot. Both home runs were hit 110 plus miles an hour. He is the first Marlin to do that in one game since Giancarlo Stanton. His bat gave Jesus Luzardo a big-time lead to work with, and the Lizard, he carved up Arizona, striking out 5 over 6, allowing just 1 earned run. Now, I do want to show this home run from Evan Longoria. He is now 15 home runs away from 350 for his career, and he is 101 hits away from 2,000. To me, if he can get 2,000 base hits and 350 home runs, he's got to be a Hall of Famer, especially with how good he was defensively to begin his career. This is an epic matchup and one of the most vital matchups of the first few weeks. The Cardinals and the Cubs. Nolan Gorman and Lars Nootbaar, they both launched home runs to put the Cubs fans on edge early. Gorman has 22 home runs in his first 122 games, while Lars Nootbaar has 17 home runs and a 130 OPS plus over his last 131 games. By the way, he has a whopping 20 walks in 23 games this year. A crazy, mind-blowing 430 on base percentage in 2023. Jameson Taillon had a day to forget as the Cardinals scored 4 in the first 3, the last 2 coming on bases loaded walks. But here comes the Cubs. Swanson brought it to within 1, belting a 2-run blast off of Jack Flaherty. Jack wasn't bad, but he wasn't good either. That 2-run home run gave any Cubs hitter a chance to tie it, and tie it, Christopher Morel did. Why did I sound like Yoda? He went 2 for 4 in his first game since being recalled. I don't know why he was ever sent down. I'm happy for him, but ultimately it could not rally the troops as Paul DeJong, his 9th inning home run, and Andrew Kisner's RBI double, they both sealed it in the final innings. DeJong is hitting .350 with 3 home runs, by the way, just throwing that out there. The Cubs fall to 17-19. They're 3-7 over their last 10, and the Cardinals, look at them. They've won 3 in a row. You know how superheroes get punched once and then they have that dramatic, oh, I'm angry and I'm going to turn into an unstoppable ultra superhero now? Yeah, that was Framber Valdez yesterday versus the Angels. He gave up a home run to rookie Zach Neto. That was the first home run of Zach's career, by the way. But like I said, from there, it was over for the Halos. Ohtani, he was trying his best to keep LA in it, but the middle innings have been so tough for him all season long. That Maldonado 2-run home run put Houston out in front, and then Yordan Alvarez, he added to it with an RBI single. Ohtani, he has a 1 ERA from innings 1 through 3, but innings 4 through 6, he has a 5 ERA. I don't know if that was because he was on his 4th string catcher and he was relying too much on calling his own pitches, but regardless, Framber Valdez, he went back out for the 7th and 8th innings. He kept carving up the Halos again and again. He finished with 12 strikeouts, lowering his season ERA to 2.38, and then Ryan Presley, he came in. He's been doing a fantastic job at restoring his ERA back to normal because he was terrible to begin the season. He struck out 2 in a shutout 9th inning. He has 5 saves. The AL West, I'm just going to let you guys know right now, it is setting itself up to be a bloodbath with 3.5 games separating 4th place and 1st place, and we're going to talk about the Mariners and the Rangers now because, again, that AL West is going to be an absolute, not a dumpster fire, the opposite of that. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Seattle really needs this W, not not only because Houston just won and a loss would send them to 4th place, but because it's the Rangers. Ty France, he understood the importance of this game. He played 2 huge runs for George Kirby, who was honestly one of the most ice-cold, heartless pitchers in Major League Baseball. The kid doesn't show any signs of being afraid of big moments, and this was essentially a playoff game. Kirby, he became Chef Kirby, cooking up the Rangers for 7 strikeouts over 7 shutout innings. He's gone 6+ in 6 straight games, and over the last 3, all 3 of them have been 7+ innings. Tom Murphy, he had an insult to injury with a 2-run home run. The Mariners, they went easily 5-0 in an exclamation game against the Rangers. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the standings right before we show the web gems, but that is gonna do it for me. That does it for all of the recaps from yesterday. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I enjoyed the support more than you could ever imagine, and enjoy the gems.
Rizzo hits one into center field, coming up for Ruiz to make the diving catch.
Ground ball, gloved by Baez. What a play! And that's hit hard. Oh, stabbed by Marcano. Duca pizza Marcano.
Loop toward left, shading his eyes. Fairchild hops up the wall.
Adames lifts one to left field. Taylor back on the track, jumps up and grabs it.
Again, line drive, Abrams to his right. Similar to the play he made to end the ball game last night.
Oh boy, Nick Elman, wow.
Of course, Nick thinks he ought to catch everything.